Shalom everybody, it's the Wyco Nomad with Wyco Resiliency. Today we're going to talk about 4 steps of threat-based planning. So the first thing we want to get into is threat identification. And this is extremely important that we come up with what are the threats in our area. So as many of you know, I lived in Wyoming for probably about three years, maybe 3.5 years. Prior to that, I lived Colorado, New York. I also lived on the islands, a small little island, part of the British West Indies. I lived there for 3 years. Threat planning for the islands, totally different than in the continental United States. Threat planning in Colorado. So at the time, some of the biggest threats in Colorado were wildfires, blizzards. You could say high heat, but we were used to 110, 120 degrees. It happened every so often. Every so often we would get a Arctic blast. I mean, apparently they now call them polar vortexes. It was a polar blast. It would drop down from Canada, and it would get down to maybe 10, 20 below, wind chill, keep maybe 40, 50. I remember at the time, the car I was driving, I actually had to take cardboard, cut a little V in it, put it in front of my radiator, so when driving, that cold air hitting the radiator actually wouldn't overly cool the radiator, so I could actually have heat. That was actually threat planning. That was actually doing something about it. So now where I live is a totally different threat identification. I have to worry about political, a lot of civil unrest now in the area that I'm at. I have to worry about volcanoes. Yes, never thought in a million years I'd have to say I have to worry about a volcano, but yes, I have to worry about volcanoes, earthquakes, and also tsunamis. Living in Colorado, Wyoming, I really never had to worry about tsunamis. Tidal wave. Nope, tsunami's Pacific, tidal wave is Atlantic. Water. Yes, I'm actually drinking water. So, what are your threats? And I'm not talking about FEMA's going to roll in and martial law. No, let's step away from that because FEMA's not rolling in anywhere. Martial law is not being instigated anywhere. Possibly if you live in LA, you had during the, guess what I want to call them, the ICE riots. LA created a curfew, pseudo martial law curfew. I can't remember if they did. I really just glanced at it here and there. It wasn't changing my bathwater, so I didn't get overly hyper focused on it. That's also a part of threat identification. Don't get hyper focused on things that don't affect your immediate area. Your if it doesn't affect your bathwater, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. What are your localized threats? What's going to affect your home? Sickness, loss of a job. What are other things? Inflation, shortages at the grocery store. We got inflation 2.0 coming in real fast. I mean, the indicators are there. We're going to be looking at another bout of inflation. The tariffs are going to start hitting, and we're going to start seeing potential shortages and getting newer vehicles. It's troubled times are coming. So that's part of more of a national threat. But what's your localized? What's your weather? What's your fire? What is your criminal threats? Bad actors in the area? Do you have any health concerns? So you need to identify those. You need to make an assessment of those. How is this going to affect? What is the high probability of, say, Mount Rainier blowing? I'm not putting it at a really super high. Is it a contingency? Yeah, it could possibly. It could potentially happen. What am I going to do about it? Okay. what is my plan? So, number one, we have our threat identification. Number two, we have our assessment. We want to assess the probability of each threat happening. What incident? Once we do that, we want to do a task list. What do you need? So number three is your task list. What are you going to do if A, B, and C? So your task list is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Gather the wife, get home, contact the wife. What's your communication plan? And this goes into communication, and we have videos on communication. What's your list? I can't tell you what your list is. I'm not going to tell you what mine is because honestly, we want to still keep in mind OPSEC. We want to keep focused on OPSEC. We don't want everybody knowing what our plan is. In the day of social media, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, all those things, we just share. We overshare. Whether we want to or not, we overshare. Your task list. What's the first thing you need to do? You know, if the volcano goes, what's my first thing to do? Well, where am I? Am I at work? Am I at home? Is my wife home? Is my wife working? What day is it? And then you go down 1, 2, 3, 4. That's your task list. Then once you have a task list, what is your plan? So number 4, what is your plan? Volcano goes, get out of Dodge. We are getting out of here. Hopefully, that's one of those things. It's better to leave a month too soon than a minute too late. Some of you have seen some of the video I've shown of just basic traffic here. If that volcano goes, no one's going anywhere. Traffic, on a normal day, traffic is gridlock, bumper to bumper. You are going 10 miles an hour. Throw in a disaster, it's a parking lot. So definitely, if you're in a high population zone, you got to be the great Karnak. That disaster's coming next week, and you got to decide: are you moving? You taking vacation? What's your situation? Can you, part of your task list or your planning, do you have pre-positioned supplies outside of, say, a volcano zone? Tsunami, that's a tough one. There's a huge earthquake. They predicted some waves were going to hit us. I think we got a foot wave hit. Someone posted that, the wave was a foot tall, came in. Okay, cool. We missed that one. Good. Because of tsunami, and then plus I'm fairly inland. But if they talk about this huge fault line, 9.0, this is a huge, yes, I extended that way too long, so bear with me. This is monumental. I mean, part of the Pacific Northwest may literally just drop into the ocean. And you can look into, what do they call them? The saltwater forests. And the saltwater forests, when the land just dropped and the water came in, they're still there. That happened in the 1800s. We're overdue. They're saying we're overdue by over 300 years for this fault to actually snap. Now, the same thing with Yellowstone. Yellowstone supervolcano, super caldera could go. It could. Has it? No. Could the Ring of Fire trigger that? Trigger Yellowstone? Yeah, that could be. That right there may end up being like biblical prophecy. Who knows? I don't. So, taking into consideration, you have to, as we go back, what 4 steps we need to do for threat-based planning. You want to identify your threat, you want to assess your threat, you need to make a task list, and you need to have a plan. And that plan could be anywhere from bug-out bags, get-home bags, supplies located at another area. So we go with that. Things to keep in mind for threat-based. And my question to you is, what do you see as a potential threat? And I mean, seriously, what do you see? Don't be afraid. Put it in the comments section. What do you think, or based on your area, what is your biggest fear? And that fear goes into threat. And we don't let fear cripple us. We recognize it and we deal with it. So, as always, I'm the Wyco Nomad. Thank you for watching Wyco Resiliency. Remember to like, subscribe, share. If you want to help the show, please check in the description. We have discount codes for Refuge Medical. We have discount codes for Blackout Coffee Company. That's a 20%. And I am currently still working with other companies to get you some better discounts for other products and stuff like that. So, expect some new stuff coming from the show. The new studio is slowly going up. It's not how I really want it, so we have to deal with what we got, where we're at. As Pastor Joe Fox says, make do with what you got and where you're at. So, but with that, everybody, shalom. Watch your six as always, and thank you for watching. I'm out.